Thousands have taken to the streets, echoing Tlaib's hateful, virulent anti-Semitic rhetoric. And sadly, these rabid anti-Israel riots are getting worse, and so are the chants from the protesters. Take a look at what they were screaming outside of Joe Biden's White House this weekend. Allahu Akbar. Sound familiar? Yeah, those were words echoed by some of the pilots on 9/11/01 as they killed 2,977 Americans. Here now with reaction, the former Prime Minister of Israel, Naftali. Bennett is with us. Mr. Prime Minister, good to see you.
Good to see you.
For the life of me, I do not understand the United States of America. Israel stood strong with America post 9/11. You guys never wavered, ever. And here, this is the worst terror attack in Israeli history. And we have an American president and administration pressuring Israel to put a pause on defending your homeland, defending your country. Has that been happening?
Well, I want to explain, Sean, the meaning of a pause in the war. Right now, we've embarked on an inevitable war to eliminate Hamas. There's no way that we can accept a terror state that did what it did on our border. The moment we pause in the middle of the war, it gives time for our enemies to replenish themselves, to rearm, to freshen up. And in effect, it lengthens the war. Every day of pause is another 2 weeks of war, which means many more dead people on both sides. It would be tantamount to say, January of 1945, that the Allies would tell Germany, you know what, we're going to pause the war for a few days, take your time, we don't want to hurt civilians, and the war would have continued into 1946, 1947. The best way to save lives is to accelerate the war, beat Hamas, and this whole nightmare will be over.
Let me ask you, Mr. Prime Minister, and this is important to me. Doesn't the net result have to be the elimination of not only Hamas, but Hezbollah in Lebanon? Doesn't the net result have to be that neither Lebanon nor Gaza can no longer be launching areas for the hundreds of thousands of rockets? I've been there when they've been fired. I've been in the terror tunnels. Doesn't this have to end with those areas no longer being a launching pad to attack Israel with those rockets? Doesn't that have to come to an end? Doesn't it also, don't you have to destroy all of this network of terror tunnels? I've been in them. Doesn't that have to be part of the equation, too? And at some point, doesn't somebody need to deal with the head of the snake, and that being Iran, that is orchestrating all of this with their proxy wars?
I think you're absolutely right. We have an octopus of terror. The head is Iran, and the arms are Hezbollah, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, and terror cells around the world. And those who are fueling it are sitting in Tehran, and they feel immune. What we need to do is ultimately hit Tehran. As Prime Minister, when I was Prime Minister of Israel, according to foreign sources, when they messed around with Israel, there were commanders of Al-Quds terror units that were assassinated in the heart of Tehran. There was a drone base in Iran that was bombed, and that's what we need to do, because
we know what
fighting just the arms of the octopus doesn't really make sense. And you're right.
Mr. Prime Minister, I only have about 30 seconds left. We have seen, you know, from the river to the sea, we've heard that. I never thought I'd hear the words gas the Jews, F the Jews, and all this virulent anti-Semitic rhetoric in the United States, on college campuses, in the halls of Congress, and worldwide. I've never been one to use Nazi analogies, but this sounds eerily like the 1930s to me, and all that I've learned in history. I had no idea that this level of hatred existed. What is your reaction to it in the 30 seconds we have?
Sean, me neither. I never imagined that on the ground of the United States of America, we'd hear people chant effectively, kill the Jews, because that's what from the river to the sea means, because that's where the state of Israel is. But there is a response. There's one way to do away with all this anti-Semitism in America and our war with Hamas. And that's total victory on Hamas. Defeat them, hit them, kill the terrorists, and by doing that, this whole thing will change.
All right, Mr. Prime Minister, our prayers are with Israel and the people of Israel tonight, and where prayer is for victory, not for a pause,
Thank you very
for
much.
full victory. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.